What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled The Black Buck Theory. So, here's how this comes. I'm outside working and working out, and I crack up all the time to see these guys. If they see me coming and they with their girlfriend, they start handcuffing. Had conversations with some people who swear for some odd reason that they're smarter than me and they're saying ridiculous things. People are intimidated on sight. People do this. I'm listening to rap, So let's get into it, right? I'm going to go a lot of different directions. So first and foremost, the black buck is the stereotype that of us being just sexual beings, just walking penises, right? We're anti-assimilation to America, and not assimilated, but we're just like the antithesis of everything, I guess, wholesome and mainstream and conservative or liberal. We just the opposite of American values, and we're sexually hypersexual, hypermasculine, hypersexual, hyper un-American, right? So just what cracks me up about this kind of stuff is this. Now, when I'm looking around at people, I see the idea that, other races have a problem with us because, to me, they want to view us as all black bucks. So, even though we may say something or create something or do something that is highly intelligent and highly skilled, they can't take it as anything intellectual because in their ideology and fantasy that we're nothing more than sexual beings, they don't want to process it as greatness. I.e., why do you think people are still trying to figure out Egypt? Because how can these black bucks make all of these pyramids and create an oasis and do antiquity and pass down legacies and have this as a worldwide thing? This is actually, it wasn't just Egypt, folks. It was all through Africa, Asia, North, Central, and South America, Australia. How could they be so clever? Because they wanted to take on this birth of a nation, black buck monologue to keep their sanity. So, to me, this is why you reach a certain level of success and people tell you, oh, he speaks so well. To me, you're saying, oh, he speaks so well. He speaks so well for a black buck. He's just supposed to be a walking penis and whatever I deemed him to be sexually and physically. He's supposed to be big, strong, black buck. Genius buck. Right? And then, thus, the hatred also. Because how did you get in my neighborhood? Take his money away. How did he make so much money anyway? Like, what did he do? He have to do something criminal because he's anti-American and he won't pick himself up by his bootstrap. He's a buck. He's unintelligent and uneducated, right? Can't be creative. Even though the bulk of this country's wealth was built on black labor and ingenuity. And no, I'm not just talking about slavery. What do you think? Sharecropping wasn't that? What do you think? The 13th Amendment with enslaving guys to make them work for the betterment of the economy wasn't the same thing? What do you think? The people who were creating things and they were manipulating patents and stealing copyrights for their own quote unquote business gains, under the guise of quote unquote racism, and under the guise during that birth of a nation era, because they're a black buck. They can't be anything, right? But a physical specimen. Thus, the athletics and entertainment ideology. They're just born physically gifted because they're black bucks. Even though there's like 7 different types of intelligence, and, kinetics is one of them. You have to have a certain kinesiology in that way of physicality is really, you process information faster than most people when you're doing a physical task. That's all that is. You're able to change situationally. No different than a soldier who you would consider like top, Navy SEAL-esque, Army Ranger, Green Beret, whatever, airborne, like the top of the top soldiers, They're able to process information very fast and use their bodies as a weapon. Same thing, But with other people, it's like kung fu and, it's mastery of warfare. Yeah, whatever. It's the same thing. But you can't handle it because it's the black buck thing, right? Now, thus, the fear. Because no matter, these non-black guys have this innate fear and they're intimidated. One, because they like picking fights with black men, in my opinion, because since we're the picture of masculinity in America, they want to test their manhood by, picking a fight with a black buck. But they really never want to fight. They really just want to pick a fight and do little sucker moves like, let me walk in front of him and, oh, I'm a man. Let me cut his car off. Yes, I'm a man. He's working out in the gym. Let me walk by him and go, 2. You see that? I'm a man too. Like that type of stuff. I want to bump you in public, and when you say, hey man, what is your problem? Somebody call the police. I can't win one-on-one against this black buck. I need help. Black buck theory, right? That's why even with their women, when I talk about the handcuffing earlier, they wonder why some of these women are sexually attracted to black men, because they also buy into the black buck theory. Women of all races, including our own. But with the non-black women, they have to deal with something that our women don't. They have to deal with catering to their men's fear of black men, which I can tell gets tiring. I can tell it because, come here, Rebecca. Come here, Maria. Come here. I don't know an Asian name off the top of my head, but, come here, Miley. I was watching kickboxing. I know that's just stereotypical. Whatever. Y'all do stereotypical names, so can we. Whatever. Come here, Miley. You with me? Don't look over there at him. He might hypnotize you with his black buckness, and you'll be face down and ass up in some back alley. But that gets irritating to them, because you can see them like, that dude wasn't even paying attention to you or me. Like, what are you doing? But we could see, same thing when we walk in public and the women buy into this, and these women walk around, it's a black man. He's gonna look at my butt when I walk by. Dude wasn't paying you no mind. See, we see you when you start clenching your purse and you start doing this stuff and getting fidgety, because something's wrong with a person who's walking like a normal person and they start, getting a little shaky. You're like, something wrong with them. And then, But at the same time, that fear turns y'all on. I want to experience the fetish of a black buck. And then you get mad because, like I said before, since we're supposed to be walking penises and physical specimens, when we don't want you, you're not really a human being. You're just a buck. You're supposed to be here for that. How dare you deny me of, this experience of all you have to offer, which is your penis and body. You're not that important. I've been trained to say to believe I'm more important than you. Too bad. That's on you. Bye. People flip their top. Same thing when we're dealing with our own women. Who you attracted to? The black man or the black buck? See, because when we talk about the guys you're attracted to, they got swag. They normally fit the parameters of what a black buck is by definition. The black men, they're watered down versions. They're lame because they're men and they got too much man in them and too little buck in them, right? And you see that all the time because he's attractive. Ooh, he got that body. Ooh, he fine. Ooh, when the ladies talk about, I want a man that can handle me, and guys was like, the men were like, you're not an animal. You shouldn't be handled. But what they were basically saying was, they want a black buck to handle them and dominate them sexually. That's their idea of a black man, of the black man that they want. Thus the problem with sisters complaining about the guys that they get. He ain't nothing but, he don't do nothing. He traveling, he's sorry. But all he has to do is be a buck. All he has to do is posture like a degenerate in public and physically dominate you in the bedroom or just in a sexual act, no matter where it's at. And that's pretty much, he fit all of your requirements from him as a black buck. Now, when you wanted him to be a man, you chose the wrong guy. And now you're looking at the men like, thus the idea that you want to have this corporate thug, the ghost type guy. Or, you want Martin Luther King, but in 50-cent packaging, which makes absolutely no sense. But what is it? It's the fact that that guy fits the buck narrative. And some of us play into it the same way because we can't be intellectuals. We can't be things out. If we're intellectual, if we're creative, if we're inventors, if we're builders, we're not taken seriously if we don't fit the black buck stereotype. And people poach our ingenuity because everybody doesn't take us seriously if we don't fit the black buck stereotype. This is why you hear black men saying something, being canaries in the mine for this whole country, decade after decade, but nobody can hear anything. But let somebody white say the same thing. He's a genius. Tim Wise. Genius. Bob Costas just said something. Genius. Oh my God. It doesn't really matter. But isn't that the same thing those brothers been saying for 5-10 years? How is this person a genius when they're 5-10 years behind this logic? Well, nobody's listening to them because they're black bucks. They're unintelligent and uneducated. But here's where the stereotype goes too far, because guys can be intelligent and educated, but still can't break the stereotype. And it's just as bad for the guys who don't fit the stereotype that's intellectual, and it's probably worse for the guys that do fit the stereotype and are intellectual, because now all you see is big, strong, muscular, masculine. He gotta have a big old dick. What did he just say? I don't know. I'm just thinking about what that thing do. So, but then, in teaching children the same thing. This is why our boys have such an issue in school, because they don't want you to be smart. You get in trouble for being just straight up smart. You got to play dumb. What stereotype are you playing into? The buck stereotype. Then we can handle you. And all of this is really projections for other people to feel good about themselves, because that's the same thing that goes on with these teachers every day. They get caught molesting these boys. Nobody cares, because first you got the dynamic of females being statutory rapists with boys, and then you got the same dynamic when it comes to a bunch of white women doing this to black boys. It's America. It's part of the history, right? They're black bucks. So that's another problem. Also, before I go, this is part of the reason why some of our sisters don't get along with our brothers, because guess what? Y'all don't see it. Y'all just don't see it. Like, you're too busy, if you even in our company, to be in awe of being in black love, or using a black buck as arm candy, that you can't see the nuances of society when you're with us. So other groups can see it because they are with their group when they see how their group reacts to looking at us and dealing with us. But y'all can't see it. I don't know why. It's just a theory. We out.